So if you guys are like me, many of you guys may absolutely love the prospect of a project car, but can't really afford to do all the stuff that you'd like to do to it. Well, I may have a solution. Kind of. So for any of you guys that would love to build a crazy project car, but can't exactly afford all the parts and different things that you would love to do to it, well, I think that I've got a pretty solid option for something that you might enjoy if you love to tinker. That's not gonna cost you the same as 240SX with a SR20 swap at this point. Probably will. I'm just kidding, but I mean, it'll cost you way, way less money than that. That was a terrible example. So we have 3 different examples here of, first of all, a $40 RC from Walmart, a $200 RC Nitro 110 scale buggy, and a $500 Nitro RC 8 scale buggy. So I guess we'll talk about these from the bottom to the top. First one we'll start with is this drift car from Walmart. Yes, it is the Veilside Fortune RX-7 from Tokyo Drift. The Fast and Furious franchise is absolutely ridiculous and stupid, but with that being said, it is one of my favorite movie franchises of all time. This is the best car in any of the films. Change my mind? You can't. So yeah, when I saw this, obviously I had to get it. This was $40. It does have one upgrade. That makes it technically $60, I think, total on what I've spent on it. And it does actually have a removable body, which is pretty unusual for toy grade RCs you'd buy from Walmart or from Target or whatever. So this is what it looks like underneath. This is a 4x4 RC, by the way, plastic tires because it is a drift car. So for an RC drift car, you don't want a ton of grip. This came with a, I think, 6-cell nickel metal battery, but I replaced it with a 3-cell LiPo battery. That's because at full charge, this is about 2 volts more than the stock battery, and so because of that, this thing is a little bit quicker, a little bit higher top speed, but mostly it has way, way, way more torque. Now, I really doubt the components in here are built to handle that extra voltage, so they will probably blow eventually, but if you bought one of these, like I said, they're $40. They come with tons of different bodies besides just the Veilside RX-7 body. And you want to give it a little more kick, buying a little battery like this is a good way to do it. You do have to rewire the plug in here, but it's very simple if you know how to do any sort of soldering. And what you get is a pretty dang cool, super cheap drift RC. So next one up, this is a pretty good price point when it comes to hobby grade RCs. This is a Red Cat Racing Shockwave Nitro RC buggy. This little engine in here is a 0.16 cubic inch. Yes, 0.16 cubic inch total ripper. As far as CCs, I can't remember what that is. I think it's like 2.6 or 7 or something. I don't know, I can't remember. But yes, this is a little RC buggy powered by nitromethane fuel. Yes, nitromethane, the same fuel that they run in top fuel dragsters, they run in this little RC. And no, Dominic Tretto, I do not care what you say. Nitro is not for So we'll go ahead and peek underneath here and show you guys what it's all about. So, like I said, this was $200. If you look under here, you see the little engine. Right here, you guys probably can't see, is actually where the flywheel is. This is your air filter right there. And then we got the little fuel tank right there. And yes, a little exhaust pipe. This is the one modification that I've done to this thing. It has a tuned header and exhaust. Gives it probably a tiny, tiny bit more power, nothing crazy. Unfortunately, this is the one that I'm not gonna be able to show you guys because the pull start, as you can see, as it is wrapped around this wing, is broken right now, so I cannot get this thing started currently. Yes, they do start by pull start. But yeah, the nitromethane fuel you use for this, you can buy at most hobby shops around you. You can also order it online, but you can't order, I think, like gallons online at this point because it can't be shipped above a certain quantity of liquid, basically. I don't know, you'll have to look that up for yourself. But yeah, the nitro fuel, it's not too expensive. It's not super cheap for the amount that you get, but 1 gallon, if you can buy it at your RC hobby shop, will last you quite a while. And yeah, these little things are amazing. The fuel is a pre-mixed 2-stroke fuel, and just go ahead and, you know, show the hobby shop what you've got, ask for their suggestion on what kind of fuel they would run in it, and you should be pretty easily able to go from there. So for this $200 price point, the reason why I think this is a good comparison is, yes, you can get a nitro RC, whether it be a buggy or a monster truck or whatever, from a brand like Red Cat, which has some cheaper, lower end hobby grade RCs. I just dropped the body clip. I'm probably never gonna find that again. Wait. I found it. But for the same $200, you can get a nitro 4x4 RC buggy like this one. You can also get a, you know, two-wheel drive RC buggy or something, whether that be electric or nitro, something like a Traxxas Bandit or a Traxxas Rustler. If you want more of like a short course truck design, you can look at a Traxxas Slash or an ECX Torment or something like that. There are tons of different options around this price point for pretty fun, pretty fast entry-level hobby grade RCs, whatever you choose, whether it be electric or nitro. Electric's a little bit less of a headache. I'll get into that later, but it's nitro, dude. It's a little engine running. How can you say no to that as a car enthusiast? So last and most certainly not least, we have this Kyosho Inferno MP9 TKI 4. This is basically a racing 1/8 scale RC buggy. They do actually make a kit version of this. This is the ready set version, which basically means it's just basically ready to go out of the box other than batteries and fuel. And then you can get that break-in process started on these engines. But they do make a kit version of this, which has even higher end components than this. It's about $700, but you have to supply your own engine as well as some other things. This is basically a dumbed down version of that is basically ready to go out of the box. And this is a great option if you think you ever might want to get into 8 scale nitro buggy racing, because with a few simple upgrades, this thing, it might not be super duper competitive for the top podium or something like that, but it can definitely compete and do a fairly good job with good driving, with the stock components, and with a few upgrades, it can be pretty competitive overall. So this thing has a 0.21 cubic inch, which is 3.5 cc's. It probably makes somewhere around 1.9 horsepower, something like that, if I remember correctly. I've done a couple really simple modifications to it. It's got some shock protectors right there, you probably can't hardly see, as well as it has Armahoon tires on it. Normally these come with dirt tires, but these are great for on the road. They're kind of a hard compound, so it's really easy to get this thing drifting around. And yeah, so with that being said, if you are going to choose nitro RCs, as I'm sure a lot of you guys would be interested in, one thing I will say is, although the price might be $200 or $500 for this, in comparison to a electric RC that might come with everything you need right out of the box, you are going to need a few things in order to get these nitro RCs running. You're going to need the fuel, first of all, which is going to cost you some money. You are also going to need the batteries, because they do still have electric components to steer and control the throttle on them, as well as to receive the actual signal from your radio. Also, your radio is going to need batteries, but that seems obvious. But above that, you are also going to need this thing, which is called a glow igniter, because fun fact about these little nitro RCs, the way they operate is actually similar to the way that a diesel engine operates. They have a glow plug like diesel engines would. You put this igniter on it, there's a little basically glow plug right there. You put this on here, that'll start heating up, so I don't want to waste the battery in this. This is a super cheap one. You can get this on Amazon for I think 10 bucks or something. It just runs off a AA. They do make better ones. I have a better one as well, but it's not charged right now, so I'm using this one. But once that heats up and gets the motor warm enough, basically, you can then start to pull start it and hopefully get it up and running. And after that, you're off to the races. Or off to the bash park or skate park or whatever. But there obviously is things like this. You're also probably going to want a small bottle to pour the fuel in. It's gonna be a lot easier than pouring the fuel out of a gallon container or something like that. So with that being said, something like this, I believe this was $170 when I bought it. But by the time everything was said and done, it was just over $200 on everything that I had spent. I think these also might have went up in price since I bought it, so just keep that in mind. I think this is closer to a $200 RC now without those additions. But if you're just chilling, you just want to cruise around in a parking lot, drifting around, this is a pretty solid option. I mean, pretty much any RC from Walmart. My friend Bobby and I, he might be watching, went into kind of a crazy RC phase at the beginning of 2019, buying RCs from just like Walmart and places like that, and modifying them and putting bigger batteries, which I think you could say it probably climaxed at putting way too big of a battery in a small RC car. It immediately after being plugged in, smoked the circuit board out. We didn't unplug it right after that because we were laughing because it was funny how quickly it happened. And then something went, and what actually happened is it exploded a capacitor. So that was not good. Always be careful with batteries, especially LiPo batteries and things like that. They can be a little volatile, but you know what? With that being said, let's go ahead and show you guys what these things can do. I'm right by basically an asphalt loop right there, as well as just down there, there is a ball diamond, which I will show you guys each of these on. This guy's gonna have a lot of fun on both of them, and I'll show you the drift car first. They can be tons of fun. So I am an idiot, so I did not film what I just did. So I'm going to refilm it now, but let's go ahead and show you how this thing works. So we've already plugged the battery in, so we'll go ahead and turn the controller on, flip the car over, turn on the car, give it a couple pulls on the throttle, and we're good to go. Interesting thing about this, it has a turbo button, which basically just puts a little more voltage through everything. So if you go normally, there's that, go with the turbo, more wheel spin. Basically that's what you gotta do if you wanna drift. So let's set this camera up and try to get some cool shots of drifting around here. I think you get the point. If you guys are super bored and you have already played all your video games throughout this pandemic, nothing new is coming out that's really interesting to you, and you just want to go do something, find one of these at Walmart, go ahead and just rip it, dude. It's pretty fun for 40 bucks. I can't deny that. And if you want to give it that little extra kick in the pants while potentially risking the electronics inside, give it that 3-cell LiPo battery and just see what it does. Now, let's go get the nitro car started, which will probably be a bit of a process, but that kind of gets me to the point of this video. If you guys love tinkering on stuff, then trust me, there's no doubt gonna be plenty of tinkering with a nitro RC. I hope you guys are ready. Let me kind of walk you through the process of what you gotta do. So as it turns out, I did not charge the battery for the components, like an idiot. So, I'm gonna try to get this thing started, show you guys what it's like, and basically, we'll go from there. Looks like we're not gonna be able to drive this thing right now. I'll take that footage later, but we'll get this thing started at least. So, you do need to prime the engine. The only way really to do that is basically to plug the exhaust, give her a few pull starts, get some fuel in the engine, then you go ahead and start trying to pull start the engine, which on a cooler day like this is probably gonna take a while. So we'll go ahead and get started. Smell that nitro! So I actually had this thing started just the other day, so it didn't take a real long time to get it started. But if you haven't started your Nitro RC for a few months, it may take a little bit to get it started. We're gonna have to take a pause for this video and come back a little later, and then I'll show you why these things are so freaking fun and why you'll probably love them if you're a car enthusiast. Listen to that idle though! We're idling at about, I don't know, 6,000 RPM. sounds like a crazy angry mosquito. All right, we're back. We are at a baseball diamond. Time to rip it. First thing I'm gonna do is turn on the controller, make sure the car is turned on. All right, we got control over that. We got control over the throttle, nothing's delayed. Take your glow igniter right here, stick it on the glow plug, give it a couple primes. Wow, I did not expect that. It was started earlier, so it shouldn't be that hard to start, but let's see what she does. And that's all the gas we've got. Well, my camera battery just died, so how about we wrap up this video on my phone? This sort of platform is incredibly fun, and I think that this is a great option for those of you who are like me and can't afford to do everything that you would love to do to your car, but you still want to tinker with stuff. Like, yes, this is $500. That's a lot to spend on what's basically a toy, at least initially. But this little thing, especially the nitro cars, this is a little engine. This little thing requires a lot of tuning. And right now today, in these cooler conditions, my nitro car was running a little rich. And that's something that you constantly have to be toying with and adjusting. So if you're the type of person that loves to tinker with things, and loves taking stuff apart, and maybe before you ever are brave enough to take apart your entire car, or before you can afford to possibly make a mistake taking apart your entire car, try out RC, especially try out Nitro RC, because these things are absolutely awesome. They're a ton of fun. I mean, all I did was drive around in this baseball diamond. I got this little thing super duper dirty everywhere. It's pretty covered in dirt and dust and stuff, but it was a ton of fun, honestly. And especially if you're someone who doesn't really see a way for you to get into motorsports and things like that, like a lot of us probably won't be able to, at least not easily, or at least not without a lot of investment. Hey, this is a fun form of motorsports that doesn't require a ton of investment. It's a fun way for you to get out to a track and race, even if you're not literally in the car. It's pretty darn enjoyable. With that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave the video a like. If you really like the video or the last few videos that you've seen from my channel, why not subscribe and maybe even click the notification bell so that you can be notified about every single time that I upload. And if you'd really like to support the channel, you can consider supporting me on Patreon. All Patreon donations go straight back into the channel, whether that be for equipment or for parts or whatever it may be. And if you can't support me on Patreon, that's totally fine. I completely understand. You're all awesome for watching my videos anyway. So once again, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys all later.